This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning is everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Good morning. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, talking sports and pop culture. As always, we thank you for tuning in, whether you're in your car on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, watching us on the W Show Facebook Live, or however you're watching us and listening to us. We appreciate it. Coming up on today's show, the NWSL expansion team ownership in Kansas City includes Patrick Mahomes' fiance Brittany Matthews, and Ravens Des Bryant says he won't play for the rest of the season due to COVID-19. I have some thoughts about that. Also, Duke head coach basketball coach Coach K says he doesn't feel right playing during COVID-19 pandemic, and we will have our sneakers of the week during our Hate It or Love It segment. Again, we appreciate everyone watching us this morning. This is the W Show. I am Steve Walls, and as always, I am joined by the other hosts of the show, DJ Q, Noel, and Jazz. How is everyone's week?
Good. We're here.
Good.
Another day, another dog.
A little change to the temperature this morning.
A little, man.
Very subtle. Very subtle. Not too bad, I guess.
Yeah, we went from 60 to 20. No, feels like 20 though.
It does feel like 20 degrees. Have you guys? I watched a little basketball last night. Did you guys watch any? NBA started.
Yeah, I did. Watched a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
We're gonna get into that a little bit later, but let's get to our headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
The new NWSL expansion team ownership in Kansas City includes Patrick Mahomes' fiance. So the National Women's Soccer League is returning to Kansas City after an ownership group that includes Brittany Matthews, the fiance of Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. She was awarded an expansion franchise on Monday. Q, let's start with you. Your thoughts on Brittany Matthews taking ownership of the NWSL expansion team?
It's a smart move to include her. I'm not sure she was in the negotiations for it to come here, but them coming here, if they selected her, like that's great for marketing. I mean, it invigorates a fan base, and people in KC seem to be hot or cold on her. Like either you love her or you hate her. And I think they're banking on that dynamic.
Jazz, you are played soccer, high school, college, growing up. What is your thoughts about the NWSL's expansion team and Brittany Matthews coming to Kansas City?
Yeah, I love to see it. Especially, she played in college and then she played a little bit of professional, I think, after college too. So I think it was great, especially with the Sporting Kansas City being here. We've already got the men's program, so I think it's nice to bring the women's team here also.
So the ownership group is led by Angie and Chris Long and their Kansas City-based Palmer Square Capital Management. The league commissioner, Lisa Baird, said that the group will assume all of the player rights, draft picks, and the other necessary assets from the Utah Royals FC as the club winds down its operations. So they will start in Kansas City coming up in the next few months. No, you're a soccer fan and also played soccer. What are your thoughts about this?
Again, like you said, a smart move. I've said it a million times on this show. Anything Patrick Mahomes related seems to turn to gold or turning to gold.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said about, I've harped on the NBA team. It's coming. I know it is. But this is just a small little taste. I mean, obviously that's his fiance and, soon to be, mother of his child. She's involved with it. So that means he's involved with it. So it's just a big move. I hate to draw everything back to Patrick Mahomes, but he is the person that's driving the force behind it. But shout out to her for being involved, though. A lot of times we see these, significant others, which isn't a bad thing. They just kind of sit back behind the scenes and just, stay at home and take care of home. Shout out to her for, getting involved somehow, getting her name on something. She's also a fitness entrepreneur as well. So I think it's really dope that she's able to, not just say I'm Patrick Mahomes' wife. I'm also, I have my own things. I'm, doing my own stuff. So I think it's really dope. Right?
Now, is this one of those things where it's like, I mean, how does it actually work though? Because of course, Patrick Mahomes has the financial backing. And I'm not saying that Brittany's coming into this with nothing, but is it just, hey baby, let me borrow $100,000 to go get this expansion team or what?
No. And that's the beauty about what Patrick Mahomes has done. Noah was saying that he hates to take away, from her mentioning Patrick. But it's the same situation as the Carters. When you think about the Carters, you think about Beyonce before you think about Jay-Z. So
but you came into that with her own money, though.
Yeah, exactly. And Beyonce's the bigger artist. She's the bigger icon. Right. She adds more to Jay's empire. So again, smart move on Jay. That's why I said it's a smart move for this group to go after her. Because when you look at it, it's the same thing from the Royals' perspective when they bring him in a part ownership deal. And you're banking on the city. The Royals are banking on the city completely loving Patrick. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find anybody here that doesn't love Patrick. So it's a smart deal because with her, you have people that love her or hate her. So the people that hate her are going to watch to see the team fail. And the people that love her are going to go to the game. They're going to buy the merch. So her name is the investment alone.
Right. Now Jazz, being a former soccer player, are you going to try out for the team or what? Let's
Real question.
I'm hanging up the cleats. I'm retired.
Come on.
She's on to greener.
Join an indoor league. Me and you, we can join an indoor league.
We could do that. No, I think that's too big of a stage for me, though.
one step closer to trying out. That's just what it is.
I'm good.
We have to push Jazz forward on this one, man.
Oh, she's on to bigger stages, and we know that. we love her here at the W.
And talking about bigger stages, the Chiefs are now tied with Pittsburgh for the number 1 seed. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers suffered their loss earlier this week in Week 13 to the hands of the Washington football team. Did you all get to see that massacre that happened?
Man, it was a. Go ahead, Noah.
Oh no! Go ahead.
No, it was bound to happen. We talk about it a lot on the Red Hour on Mondays. But it was bound to happen. This Steelers team is not indicative of their record. But they've done exactly what you're supposed to do. You win the games that are on your schedule. And even though their schedule, debatably is very weak, they took advantage of it. And this team just bested them. I mean, you have Alex Smith, who really kind of kept the Chiefs afloat in their very dark years after Matt Castle. So, he comes in very experienced and was able to right the ship enough just to get the team over the hump.
Now, Patrick Mahomes talked about Alex Smith and his win over or his loss against the Washington win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sorry,
I haven't talked to Alex since he won the game against the Steelers. Big win for him, obviously. I mean, it's just truly tremendous to see him. It seems like every single time he gets back out there, you watch him play, he feels more and more comfortable, and he looks more and more like the Alex of old. And that Alex can win a lot of football games. So, I mean, they're doing a tremendous job battling for their NFC East crown with the Giants and a couple other teams over there. And so I'm obviously super proud of him being able to battle through that and be at the top of his game again.
So the Chiefs are now tied for the top spot in the AFC after Sunday night's win over the Broncos, and the Steelers lost on Monday. So Kansas City is the number 2 seed in the AFC due to Pittsburgh having a better record. Now, what Chiefs fans have to understand here is that if the Chiefs need the Steelers to lose another game, or if the Steelers lose, and if they lose that other game, they need it to be against the Buffalo Bills. So, and that's if the Chiefs also lose another game. So, if the Steelers lose another game, it really doesn't matter. But if the Chiefs also lose, they need the Steelers' loss to be against Buffalo because the Chiefs, beat the Buffalo Bills earlier this season.
It's a tiebreaker, yeah.
Yeah, so it is. We'll have to see. And there's a couple of more games that I believe that the Steelers will lose. Of course, coming up against the Cleveland Browns, they still have to play the Colts, and I mean, they may lose again this week, so we'll see.
And the tough thing about it is we're late in the season. We're in the fourth quarter of the season where teams aren't still working on preseason like they were the first half of the season.
Right.
Like we're in the latter half of the season, so anything can happen right now, and that's why some teams that may be 4-7 at this point can play spoiler.
And the team that's trying to play spoiler this week is the Miami Dolphins, as the Chiefs head down to Miami to face these Dolphins under Tua, under their new quarterback. We talked about this earlier this year, man, about Ryan Fitzpatrick being benched for their rookie quarterback Tua. So, Q, I know you're a Tua fan. What are your thoughts about the Chiefs heading down to Miami?
Yeah, I'm a Tua fan. I mean, I've been a fan since that first 70-something yard bomb he threw in the national championship game, fresh off of the bench. Like that's incredible. So a guy that can do that in that moment, imagine what he can do against arguably the best team in the NFL. And if you're the Dolphins and you're Brian Flores as the head coach, you see that and you see that potential in him. So yes, I need him to be much better against this marquee matchup. So I need to start him weeks out ahead. And, a lot of people didn't see it. And this can be a statement game for Tua. This can be a statement game for the Miami Dolphins as they sit right now, looking into the future. And they're going to come playing for, those rights, those bragging rights to say that we are a good team and then leading in the next season. So I would look forward to this, to the whole team of the Miami Dolphins at least being competitive.
Now, one of the questions this week was, will there be any memories that come back for this team? Of course, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in the same stadium just 10 months ago. Let's hear from head coach Andy Reid as he talked earlier this week to us about if there be any feelings when he goes back down to Hard Rock Stadium.
I think they have us in a different locker room and a different side of the field. So I think we were the home team for that one. And, it'll be a little different picture, but I probably won't reflect too much on it. I'm try to concentrate on these guys because they're going to draw all the attention. So, I mean, for me at least, and I think from our football team, but it's, it'll be great to be back there, I guess, to answer your question, but I probably won't think too much about the other part. No.
Now, Jazz, your thoughts, this team heading back to Hard Rock Stadium where they just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think it'll be a confidence game again, like we've talked about. I think that the Miami Dolphins will definitely be trying to prove a point any given Sunday. They can try, but I think the biggest thing, like we talked about last week, is going to be picking poison and picking your poison. And we saw what happens when you sleep on Tyreek Hill for even a second. So I think that it should be just another confidence game for the Chiefs.
No, the biggest thing for Miami is going to be able to, kind of like Jazz said, is picking your poison, stopping this Chiefs offense, but also keeping up with the scoring of the Chiefs offense. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to, unfortunately, even though the Miami is 8-4 right now, who would have thought? But it's going to be very tough for them. Honestly, you have a rookie quarterback for one. You don't have the best rushing offense to keep the ball away from a Patrick Mahomes. It's just one of those games. I mean, we sound like a broken record every week, but these teams are going to have to play perfect games in order for the Chiefs for them to give the Chiefs even a game, because the Chiefs have no weaknesses. I mean, if we want to talk, small weaknesses, cornerbacks, red zone issues, all fixable, honestly. Those are the only things the Chiefs, seem to have difficulty with. But as far as the major things that they do well, to be a great football team, they don't miss. So again, the Miami Dolphins are just going to have to play a near perfect football game in order for this to be, a game, honestly.
IQ, the Chiefs are second in scoring on offense at 30.8 points a game. First in total offense at little over 427 yards a game, and passing, they're ranked 16th. Well, actually ranked first. I'm sorry, with 314 yards a game, and 16th in rushing at 113 yards a game. Now, if there is any place that they need some improvement on the offensive side of the ball, it's the rushing. Your thoughts?
I mean, again, this is a young team, and they can do anything. Just even looking at the offense, look at those numbers. I mean, they're in the top half in both categories. And the Chiefs defense doesn't do well with teams that have a lot of talent and that can execute. We talked about that Buffalo game. Josh Allen was really most of the reason that they didn't come out on top. So you look at another team in that same division. Miami they have the potential to be a tough matchup. And Brian Flores being a defensive minded guy, he can be that kryptonite for the Chiefs. But again, reiterate, you have a young team, so you don't know what you're going to get from them. I'm expecting these young guys to come out and play. You have no crowd interference. You're at home. You're in your home stadium, and they have potential to explode. And that explosion can be, in the realm of like 20 points on offense.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the key this week. Is the defense, man. The defense ranks 6th in scoring, holding teams to 21 points a game, 17th in total defense. Which, I mean, there's been a lot of talking about Steve Spagnuolo and will this defense be able to hold teams coming down the stretch to match the offense. And I've said this: if this defense is able to let's just say be a stellar defense, better than what they were last year, this team would be unstoppable.
Yeah, and they need to be a better defense at this point this week than they were last year. And they again, as the Miami Dolphins as a team can make a statement this week, the Chiefs defense really needs to make a statement this week, and it's up to them to make that statement. And if they can play bully ball almost, I mean, because you have to stop the run, and then you have to stop the first ranked pass offense.
Now, above
your offense.
To all the bettors out there, and we had a question. Darren Smith asked, will they cover the spread? Will they beat this team by 7 points?
It's possible. I mean, it's the Chiefs. They can score at any minute. But again, that's why I said this is a statement game for Brian Flores. Him being this defensive-minded coach coming from alongside in the Patriots system. Like the Patriots have been the Chiefs killers up until the past, 2 years.
Right.
But can he do that? Can he? Because he should know Andy Reid at this point. So again, I'm looking at Brian Flores as a coach. He probably has had this game marked for a very long time.
Of course.
Yeah.
This would definitely put him to beat this Chiefs team and to beat Andy Reid in the year they're coming off of a Super Bowl win. It will definitely, I think, lengthen his career down in Miami.
And I'm not even saying beat, but if you look at that, if the Chiefs win the game, how do you beat them morally? Hold them under 28 points.
Right.
So again, if the Chiefs, say the game is 17-7, like that's a win for the confidence of the Miami Dolphins, especially going into next season.
I agree, especially if they make the playoffs too.
Yeah, but we're talking a lot of ifs. So,
all right, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes and Laurent Duvernay-Tardif named SI's 2020 Sportsman of the Year. So this is a cool deal because quarterback Patrick Mahomes and offensive lineman LDT both were named winners of the SI 2020 Sportsman of the Year award. Now these two were joined by NBA superstar LeBron James, WNBA superstar Breanna Stewart, and tennis superstar Naomi Osaka. So Mahomes is also named, of course, Super Bowl MVP and winner of Super Bowl Live. And he is also one of the prominent figures in the Black Lives Matters movement. And Laurent Duvernay-Tardif opted out of the 2020-2021 NFL season and instead has spent his time in hospitals as a doctor up in Canada, helping to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. You guys' thoughts on that?
A lot of different things, but I think I would like to take this time to also highlight a couple of other people that were probably, overlooked. They probably don't pull the star power that a LeBron James or a Patrick Mahomes has, but like we gotta think about, Maya Moore.
Yes.
We have to think about people like George Hill. We have to think about, Jaylen Brown, players like that that just don't have the, star power pull to get the acclaim, but they were definitely in the trenches, fighting those battles alongside the people. And I just think like it's easy to give LeBron James these awards and he earns them. But I think we also need to, know that there are other people fighting the battles in these trenches that need to be, highlighted as well. So that's just, I wanted to take that time to say that.
No, sorry, Jazz, your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes and LDT?
I agree with Noel. I think that it's easier sometimes for these players who are already in the spotlight to get accolades like that, and it's easy for other people to get overlooked. But I do think that it was well deserved with Mahomes, just because you see his hands in just about everything with the voting, the Black Lives Matter. You see them starting to get involved with these other sports teams. So he's encouraging other sports, not just his. And so I like to see that side of it too, that they're still encouraging other teams to get put on the map and get support from other teams too. So it's not necessarily the Patrick Mahomes show all the time.
Yeah.
And we talk about, Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, those guys that are in the spotlight. However, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, he really, wasn't in the spotlight. I know we talked about it in our meeting earlier this week as far as he stepped away from a game that he loves, right? And to go practice medicine. Of course, he went to school for it, and I believe his parents are both doctors. However, it's still the National Football League. He's not going to make the money that he would, of course, being down, playing a 16-game season with the Kansas City Chiefs, a Super Bowl team, and also have the notoriety that he would. And so I think that's really a huge story. And I commend him for being able to do that.
Yeah, and it definitely is a huge story. But even if we bring the focus back to LDT, think about him growing up. Do you think he came out of the womb at 5-6 years old and then said, "I want to play football professionally"? Or do you think he jumped out of the womb and then got to about 5 or 6 years old and said, "I want to grow up to be a doctor"? And he probably wants to grow up to be a doctor. He just happens to be able to play football at the professional level. And I think people are kind of overlooking that. But yes, that becomes part of the story because people are like, hey, you're passing up this money. But people that want to be doctors and that want to find cures and help people, that's not much of a sacrifice because that's what they've wanted to do their whole life. And I hope that that's the story that they're telling in that. I hope it's not, oh, he gave up this for that. Mm-hmm. Like, his heart probably has always been in medicine and in healing and helping people, and his actions show it. And that's an American right there. Right. That's somebody that cares about people and cares about someone outside of himself.
Now, another person that cares a lot about other people and giving back to the community is Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, who is a nominee for the 2020 Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. So the NFL announced the 32 nominees for the NFL's most prestigious honor on Thursday. And yesterday we had a chance to talk to Travis Kelce about how he found out that he was not nominated for this award. Let's hear from Travis.
I believe it was Mark Donovan. I call him El Presidente. My guy Mark is he's helped me grow in this organization in terms of being a professional and just having awareness about what's really going on. And he came up to me and congratulated me and let me know that I was going to be the nominee this year. And I'm a firm believer that like I'd said it before, I think individual accolades are a bit overrated in this game. But this is the one that you can have a lot of honor and a lot of pride for. I mean, it's definitely cool, but there's so many guys on this team that are worthy of it. Patrick, Tyron, I mean, the list goes on. Everybody is getting into this community and helping this community be better. And it's just it's such an honor to represent everybody in Kansas City in this way and in this light. And you know, it makes me want to do more and just keep on the same path.
Let me hear you all's thoughts on this, because I feel like Travis does a lot for the community, and this was, I think, this honor was past due. Of course, we've seen punter Dustin Colquitt win this award for the Chiefs. We've seen numerous other people who have done a lot for the Kansas City community win awards like this. However, I thought, just like Travis, Tyrann Mathieu did a lot. Does a lot for the Kansas City community, but I think Travis being here a little bit longer and has done a lot for Operation Breakthrough and has given a lot of money towards that organization, and their business, or actually their building that's right across on Truth. He's helped and donated a lot of money to open up a new center for Operation Breakthrough. So just let me know your thoughts on how you guys feel about this.
He's done a lot of great work. You made a lot of a good point about Tyron and other players doing that work in the community. And, you mentioned you thought it was overdue. But these guys, again, just like we talk about LDT, these guys actually care about a community. Travis didn't just go out there and join an organization that cared about, kids in Overland Park and Olathe and right. that went to Shawnee Mission schools. Like, he literally went to the inner city up the street from me. And I didn't grow up in Operation Breakthrough, but the name of it before that, I grew up in that with my family. So yes, he took a very pointed approach, went to underserved communities and spent his time and his money, and a lot that he's done. I can clap for that because it's a lot of people that look like us. Right. And he didn't take the easy route out of, going and joining, a community that already has the money and the resources.
Now, this next one is Ravens Dez Bryant says he won't play the rest of the season after COVID-19 diagnosis. Mm-hmm. So Bryant revealed he tested positive for COVID-19 and was pulled from warm-ups prior to Tuesday night's game against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, most notably, Bryant then tweeted, "Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for the rest of the season. I can't deal with this." No, being from Dallas and a Dez Bryant fan, what is your thoughts about Dez?
I can just kind of hear the frustration in his voice, and how, well, not his voice, but just in his tweets, I guess. This is a guy who's coming off an Achilles tear. This is his first real opportunity to, play in the NFL in a couple of years, and just having to, go through all of that. And then you finally get your chance, and then had to have it taken away from you temporarily due to COVID is just, it can probably be only so much the mental can handle. So I just know he's frustrated. Now, he did say that he had 2 negative tests that followed the positive. So he's just kind of in a state of limbo right now. It seems like, from all reports, because the NFL isn't releasing those 2 tests as official. So he if it doesn't happen within, I guess, tomorrow, he won't be eligible to play in the next game. So it's just frustration is all I can, and I would be frustrated as well. It just sucks. I just really, at this point, I just want him to be healthy, no matter what that means, whatever capacity that is. So
now the game would have been this game would have been, of course, like as you said, Brian's first chance to face his former team since he left the Cowboys in 2017, and he shared his frustration in being pulled at the last possible second. Now, I know I have my thoughts on it, but Jazz, what are your thoughts when you see this tweet from Dez Bryant that says this was more than just a game for me? It wasn't about revenge. I didn't need a catch. I wanted to make a point.
Yeah. And again, you hear the frustration in it, because just imagine you've waited so long. You're coming off this injury. So this is a huge momentum thing for him to be able to get in play at his old team, a confidence booster. And I think it's just kind of like a slap in the face almost, even though that he didn't necessarily deserve, or what could he have done differently to avoid it. But I think it's just, I could see the frustration. I understand where he's coming from. On the other side, I hated to see him saying that he was done for the season and he couldn't deal with it, because you're rooting for him so hard at this point. You know, he's come back and it's like, why throw in the towel now? But I understand where he's coming from.
Now, a lot of people aren't understanding where Coach K is coming from on playing through COVID. He says, I don't think it feels right to anybody. Let's hear what Coach K had to say.
I don't think it feels right to anybody. I mean, everyone is concerned. You know, we made an assessment, or I'm not sure who leads college basketball. You know, it's done by committee. You have oversight committee, you have this committee, and anything that's led by committee is not agile in handling a situation. And so we made an assessment and there was a consensus. It wasn't like well planned that we're going to start November 25th. And that was made without knowing if there's going to be, where the vaccine was, how many cases, you know, and basically it was more of a mentality of get as many games in as possible. And I would just like for the safety, the mental health and the physical health of our players and staff, for their, like, to assess where we're at.
Now, this is when Coach K was speaking to reporters after the Blue Devils 83-68 loss to Illinois on Tuesday. And so Coach K explained why playing games doesn't feel like the right thing to do. He also went on to talk about people are going to have a lot to say just because what he was saying came after a loss. And it was more or less people were going to say, you know, people just the fact that he's only saying this because they lost. Now, Kentucky head coach John Calipari talked about, you know, what Coach K had to say and his thoughts about it. Let's hear from him.
Look, I look at this, and these kids need me more than any team that I've coached. I'm doing things where it's them and me personally together. Whether it's some film or meetings where it's us, I'm trying to get them to turn the phones off and get together because we're not talking to each other enough. I'm doing more individual meetings than I've ever done. I've got to look, think about this. If I'm feeling bad or anxious or down, how do you think they're feeling? This ain't about me. I got to keep them safe, and they've done a fabulous job. And I got to get individual players better, and I got to get our team better. I got a full house of what I got to do, but I'm up for it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Before we go to break, what are your thoughts about that?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Because these are two guys that if I'm speaking directly towards what Coach K said, you know, you love all the conspiracies. You love all of the, oh, you're only doing this because no. Coach K is a legacy guy. Calipari, same guy. You know, these guys are about their legacy. And what would it say about their legacy late in their career that they don't speak about what's right, what they feel is right, which is how the players feel and how humans should feel about other people. Again, going back to the point about LDT, and he cares about people. They care about their players and what their players are saying, and everything that their players are saying, and everything that their players are hearing and doing. But then the people at the top are saying one thing and then doing another, and you look at all of this miscommunication. It's like, well, my guys have been on the same page and the people up top have not been.
Right. I definitely agree.
I think 1,000%, Q, you said it better than I could have said it. Like, these are not these coaches have a track record of actually caring about players. They have a track record of their players coming back and giving back to them just because of the type of people they are and coaches they are, of leaders of men. So we're not just talking about, you know, Coach K having bounced around from university to university. No, we're talking about a guy who's been at Duke for longer than I've been alive.
Decades.
And we're talking about a guy in Calipari, though he has had his, you know, allegations against his programs. We're talking about a guy who's produced not just great NBA players, but great NBA people, like guys that have good character. I don't think he really takes in guys that don't, you know, adhere to certain way that he coaches. And so, like, I just think that if you think Coach Calipari, you think Coach K are, you know, just kind of blowing smoke about losing, of course they care about losing, but I think it speaks more to them saying this is that they care about their players. So I agree with Q 1,000%.
Jazz?
And I agree too. I think that I love to see him saying that, because with the NFL for the past 5 months, it seems like they've tried to mask everything, like make it look okay. And so I think in their sense, I was happy to see them speaking out like, hey, it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. It's weird. We're not okay with doing it. Because you think about, is that what these NFL coaches are thinking when they go home to their families? They're just scared to say it on TV, or they're scared to put it out there. What do they have to lose? And so I loved that side of it, and seeing that they were just being so transparent and just speaking the truth. But of course the competitive side of it too is like, okay, you do have a legacy. You are known for winning. Is it a preparation thing, or is it how the cards fell?
I definitely agree with, and it takes someone that looks like the people that are making the decisions with the large name like Coach K and Coach Cal to be able to buck the system, so to speak.
And it's the same conversation we would have about Aaron Rodgers speaking about police brutality. You see, every other quarterback in the league was silent, except for like a Cam Newton. But if you look at your Tom Brady's, you look at your Matt Ryans, you look at your Eli Mannings, like nobody said anything. And then Aaron Rodgers came out and said it, and then it's like, oh well, he is right. And it's just being in that position, like, you have to say something, and it's the short definition of it is speak truth to power.
We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we have our sneakers of the week, and Scottie Pippen has some words for Michael Jordan. We'll be right back. This is the W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Smile Direct Club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Smile Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
Welcome back to the W Show, another Saturday morning with the crew. We appreciate everybody who listens to us on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, and also tunes in on our Facebook Live feed and all of our social media platforms. If you're not following us, at the W Show KC on all of social media. Let's get to our Hater or Love It.
And this week for the sneakers of the week, I feel like we had some tough ones. We'll start off with the Air Jordan 11s, my personal favorite. What are you guys thinking?
25th anniversary of the Air Jordan 11. I love these, even though I didn't grab these this morning, but yeah, these are one of my faves.
Like Space Jams, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, basically the Space Jams. What's different? Isn't it like the ice blue bottom?
Yeah, that's one of the differences, and then you see the
and then the Jordan. Yeah, I see the Jordan now.
Yeah, but I'm not feeling these. I'm tired of them looking the same
At all. Yeah,
like, honestly,
I don't.
They're looking the same.
Yeah, the resale will be high, but I think that's the only appeal to it.
Yeah.
And you know what about the resale on these? I don't really think it'll be that high though, because there were a lot of Jordans that have come out this past couple weeks, and people have been buying them. So I don't really think they resell. You might get them for $225. Maybe.
Yeah, but again, you said it's the 25th anniversary. Down the line, these will probably go for about $500 maybe, but it'd be odd to pay that. But still, somebody's gonna pay it.
Right. And what about the Nike Dunk High Varsity Maze?
I had these a long time ago.
You had these? I like
the yellow and black high dunks. I had these a while ago.
Yeah, love them though.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're definitely good.
Tough. The Nike Air Total Max Up Tempos.
Classics.
Very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
That green at the bottom speaks to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love these.
Yeah. And last but not least, the Curry brand Flow 8 Feel Good Flows.
Uh-oh. Okay, Steph.
Yeah.
Step out. Let me see something.
I'm not really feeling these, Steph Curry.
Yeah, but you gotta.
Shoes, man.
You gotta look at Steph Curry's demographic. His demographic is probably the 10 to 13-year-old white kid in suburbia. So yes, this is their kick.
No, yeah, definitely painted towards.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling them. I mean, for you to come out and have your own brand, that means you have to have some say so. You got to come harder than that, Steph. I'm just not feling these. But
hey,
you'll be in this later on.
Hey, if you work at Apple at the Apple headquarters, these are probably great walking shoes.
I was gonna say, no offense, Mom, but these look like something my mom would wear for her evening walk with the dog.
Yeah, no, I mean we love Steph the person. We're not so sure about Steph the fashionista. So
Steph is not known for fashion. He's not even known for haircuts. So
stick to hooping. On the other hand, Scottie Pippen says from The Last Dance that it was all about Michael Jordan and trying to uplift himself and to be glorified. Hate it or love it.
No, it was about him. They didn't really ask nobody else to talk. They said, Mike, sit in this chair and talk about how great you were. Not about how great Scottie was. Not about how great John Paxson was. So Duh, Scotty.
What did Pippen say though? Like, cause yeah, I don't know.
He says,
Yeah.
I told him I wasn't too pleased with it. He accepted it. He said, hey, you're right. That was pretty much it.
See, that was just like one of those things where it's like, all right, you said what? All right, cool. Who's drinking what?
No, that's just Scotty being in his feelings. We could talk about why Scotty is in his feelings, but we're not. And this statement is a product of that, because it's like, duh, Scotty.
Well, maybe we can come up with a Scottie Pippen doc. Just see the other, what he had to say about everything.
Look, we got a lot of his doc too. Like we saw it, but yes, I would love to see that.
I would love to see that. I would love to see, some of his motivations behind the decisions he made. So
I would tap in. Sun star Devin Booker makes funny requests about his name. Booker took to Twitter to tell his followers that he wants to be called It's Book or Debooked, y'all. Devin makes me a little uncomfortable. Hate it or love it.
Love it. Love it. I'm gonna tell you how to address me. Okay. And I've earned that right. You think he put 60 points in those buckets in one single game for me to not tell you what to call me?
Your mama call you Devin, I'm gonna call you Devin.
No, it is no, because this is not the Steve show. It's the W show. You didn't want people to call it the Steve show. You wanted them to call it the W show.
I agree with you 1,000%. Score 70 points in an NBA game, and you got to get you get to be called whatever you want to be called.
Okay, Mr. D-Book. Okay. All right.
Delm. We call him Delm on this side. Delm. That's his name on our side. We know who he is.
And Doc Rivers' response to criticism from Paul George. I think everybody needs to take ownership. George found fault with the way that Rivers used him in LA, and he also criticized Rivers' lack of adjustments. Hate it or love it.
Got a little bit of a rocky situation going on between the two of them. Obviously, if you don't know, Paul George is Rivers' daughter, and that relationship ended kind of rocky. This kind of where this comes from. If I'm picking sides, I'm definitely going with Coach Rivers. Paul George played horrible in the playoffs. Let's just be real here. He played horrible. And he just decides to come back weeks later after he's not even with the organization anymore and talk, stuff on his name. I'm gonna definitely ride with Coach Rivers on this one.
Yeah.
And honestly, Doc took the high road. He could have come out and said, all right, well, this is what type of player I think you are. I've won championships. What have you done lately? Right. So he really took the high road on this. And for Doc Rivers for Paul George to come out and say this stuff about Doc, you're supposed to be a basketball player. No matter what, if he puts you on the floor, you don't have to stick to what type of game plan that he has. You're able to go get buckets. The ball's passing you. And I watched what Doc had to say, and he said he allowed PG to come off of a lot of pick and rolls. When you come off a pick and roll, what does that mean? You have a one-on-one matchup. So go get a bucket. That's just what it is.
Yeah, and you guys simplify it to the player aspect and on the court, but on and off the court, yes, PG needs to take accountability, and he's horrible at it. And again, I would make the point that I made with Coach K. Doc Rivers is a legacy guy, and he doesn't want to be on the shade room, snapping back at a former player. No, he was gracious about it. And it's like, you and I know the truth, and take some accountability for your role in it.
And even though James promised to give his number 23 jersey to his new teammate, Anthony Davis won't be getting LeBron James jersey number after all. Hate it or love it.
What's the reason? I need like he's LeBron James. If he says I'm
Yeah.
giving it to him, he's getting
Yeah.
it.
It's the same thing as D Book. Like
Times 10.
Well, Nike had already made a few too many James number 23 jerseys, and the Lakers had missed the deadline for jersey number swaps by months. And then due to the financial hit the apparel maker would take with so many out-of-date James jerseys, Davis eventually had to settle on number 3, with the plan reportedly being to take number 23 in a year.
Yeah, it's just Nike. Basically, Nike's putting the stop to that, and it's like, nah, you know what, James, you've been number 23. We're going to continue to sell these Nike wish number 23 Lakers jerseys, and you Anthony Davis, you stay with number 3. Y'all won a championship like that, and we've sold a lot of Lakers apparel.
So who's the boss? Who's the boss? The guy that moves the needle and the guy that sells the most? Yes. So yeah, sit down, AD. We'll call on you later.
Right.
Didn't we have this story last year? Didn't he say he tried to go with number 6 and have AD go to?
That already made too many jerseys. It was too late for the because the Lakers have to come with that name change and the number change, and so it was already too late. But now it's the fact that Nike is just like, hey, nah, we're not doing it.
Yeah, and we don't care about you and your feelings.
And Vintage Breaks online car shop offered collectors a spot in an unopened 1986 Fleer basketball pack for $295 a piece. The collector who was randomly given number 3 got the MJ rookie, reportedly worth around $8,000. Hate it or love it.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
Love it. Completely.
Let's see the video. Let's see the video.
Spot number 3 for Brian G. We have pulled by S10.
Well, you keep the belt.
A Michael Jordan rookie card. Let's go!
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about.
What do you mean, Mojo? I said he takes.
Oh my God!
Wow! Fish.
Steve, we come from that era.
Hey, when I walk into a room, I'm gonna need y'all to be like, "Wow!"
Wait a second.
Give me that energy.
It doesn't. What's funny about that is it doesn't matter what. I'm just gonna say men are celebrating. We celebrate the same exact way.
Same exact way.
The guy absolutely act like he just dunked on a 7-footer and said, "Let's go," and then his buddies are like the ones on the bench hyping him up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was comedy.
But here's the thing: you turn $295 into $8,000. Look, I try to do that on just betting $1, trying to turn that into $150,000. So I know how I would act.
I feel it. You know.
No, definitely, and it shows. It shows the level that they have invested into it, man. These guys are very passionate about car collecting, and Steve and I come from that era. We come from that era of multiple books, of having this and going to Quick Trip to pick up this, but then also going to MC Sporting Goods and buying this. Like, yeah, it is definitely a lifestyle, and it just feels good to see people like really land on that holy grail, because you can understand it.
Yeah, no, for sure you can.
And breakdancing is officially an Olympic sport and will debut at the 2024 Paris Games. Hate it or love it.
Love it.
Definitely,
and
love that.
Love it for hip hop culture. Black people started this, and started it from very poor and impoverished beginnings, to then go international, to then make it as an Olympic sport. So again, tip the cap to hip hop.
This is going to be interesting.
I'm watching.
Who are these judges? Are we going to
again? Yes.
Who is going to be these people
Yeah.
that's going to say, you know what, that head spin it wasn't a 7 rotation head spin. It was more like 5. I'm gonna dock you a couple points. Like, how's it going to be scored? I'm going to watch this.
Yeah, because I don't need nobody from gymnastics coming over here telling us about anything.
If you're not from New York City and was with the 8, No, you cannot be a judge. You
Yeah.
have to be a former break dancer to be able to do it. Be from New York City.
On the highest of levels.
Yep.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
on the highest. And you had to own a pair of parachute pants in the 80s in order to be a judge at the breakdancing competition at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Tom Brady's business is getting near $1 million PPP loan. Hate it or love it.
I mean,
Hey, you take it how you get it, Tom. For real, I'm not mad at
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's his business, and his business was eligible to get it. And that, you know, for a guy like that to have his business get that kind of money, and then, you know, people like us on this level, you know, that money being kept from us, you know, that's more so on the government and the president, is specifically the president.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people want Tom to be like, all right, well, Tom, you make X amount of dollars, right, playing football. Now you have a wellness, because it was for his wellness company. You have a wellness company, and we want you, if you're in a financial situation to where your wellness company isn't bringing in enough money, take the money that you've earned from football and put it over here to your wellness company. No, that's not how it works. He's earned over here is his money. He has a separate company, separate entity. Now, if he's able to apply for those loans, then so be it. He's able to apply for them.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at the Atlanta Dreams owner that is in politics, that, you know, that owns a WNBA team. But she did the inverse. She knew about the pandemic coming up, and she moved all of her money before she even told her constituents that voted her in that actually pay her salary. Right. And she didn't bank on any of that money. So yeah, you know, Tom is doing something, but you know, we got to put that blame elsewhere.
And KU head coach Bill Self said the game had a tournament feel with the amount of Creighton fans that were there, and that was disappointing to him. Hate it or love it.
Come on, Bill.
He said,
"Come on, Bill."
He said it had a tournament feel because of what?
It just had a tournament feel, and that was disappointing to him from the amount of Creighton fans that were there.
Oh, okay.
He mad.
Okay, and they lost, of course.
He mad.
Yeah, okay. I see where you're going, Bill. I see where you're going, I guess.
Let's hear from Bill.
Yeah, I was happy about that. I was a little disappointed in take this for what it's worth, and nobody probably cares. But you know, if our fans can't come to the games, don't sell them on a secondary market. Give them to a Jayhawk fan, sell them to a Jayhawk fan. Call the ticket office and let us pay you back for them. Hell, I'll pay you back. I will personally pay you back for the tickets if you cannot come, so we can give them to a Kansas fan. That was the only thing about the day that was remotely negative, even though it was still great that we had people in the building.
I see what he's saying.
Bill sounds a little salty to me.
No, I see what he's saying. Yeah, but again, he's on the side of right, and nobody knows the interconnectings behind the scenes. So he's just like, you know, I was mad about it, but you know, the day was great.
Those Kansas fans went and bought tickets with their hard-earned money. They can double up if they want to. If they want to sell tickets, let them sell some tickets. So I mean, if anything, you tell other Kansas fans, hey, go buy these tickets on the secondary market so Creighton fans don't show up. That's just what it is.
Yeah, he just didn't want anybody else in the building. He wanted it to be like a real KU game. Get that, you know,
ain't happening, Bill.
Hey, no, you make the same point that Coach K was making, that Calipari was making. You know, my players are uncomfortable. I'm trying to find some normalcy.
Yeah, no, he definitely was. He definitely was. His came off more salty to me just because it seemed like he was just really upset that they lost, and he didn't have the home court advantage. So that's where I see the only difference I see is he kind of was like, man, I wanted this to be a real like home game, and there is no normalcy right now. So it just sucks for him because he's like, I'm sure he cares about his players, but he cares to the point of he wants to get this win. And it's like that one, it didn't work out the way it should have. So.
I have to agree. And Florida Gators players write their Instagram names on a whiteboard and tell women Vols fans to follow them during the game. Hate it, love it.
Why am I not
Shoot your shot, young man. Shoot your shot.
I'm not surprised at all by that picture. I'm not surprised.
Can't be mad at that. Shoot your shot. I love it, honestly.
I've seen the movie Get Out too many times.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, yo, that picture on the right, like, I'm just not surprised.
Yeah, they are definitely in a sunken place.
We appreciate everyone who watches us again this week. Remember, if you want us to talk about a certain topic, you can tweet us or send us a text message. #talk about it, and we will definitely talk about it. What do you all have going on for the rest of the day?
Quarantine so hard.
Fantasy basketball draft. Finna get it in with my fellas. We finna, raise the stakes a little.
So y'all doing the whole 82 game season?
Yeah, we're doing the whole 8. Well, however long the season goes for the NBA.
Whew. Yeah, that's too long for me.
Last year I didn't play so high because I didn't pay attention. So this year I'm turning it around. Like I'm on it every day. So
all right, Jazz, how about you?
I'm staying in the house. It's too cold for me. Quarantining so hard, like Q said.
We got to come out with some shirts that say "Quarantine so hard." Q, there it is.
We got to.
All right. For each and everybody that watches us each and every week, we appreciate it. Until next week, we are out of here.
Thank you.